What is a mantra? Why the mantra Om is respected and loved so much? Is there a right or a wrong way to meditate on the mantra Om? In this episode, I'll be sharing all about the Om mantra. And this is one of those episodes which I highly recommend, especially for those who are planning or ready to dive deeper in their spiritual path. I am Chandresh Bhardwaj, and this is Break the Norms. So if you listen to this podcast often, or if you have read my book, or if you follow me on the social media, you would know that I never recommend doing mantras on your own. I often recommend the seed mantras that anyone can practice, but when it comes to advanced mantras, I recommend not to do them, not to pick them on your own, because there's a science behind every mantra. And it's like, going to the CVS or any pharmacy, and if you start picking up medicines that look good or that taste good, and you start taking it, they are going to do damage. And the mantras could do the same with your energies. If you simply start to do the mantras that sound good, that's not going to be good for your energy. That's not going to be good for your alignment. But this episode is not about the flood of mantras that's on, YouTube or Google or in the books out there. This episode is specifically dedicated to the mantra Om. And I felt the need to do this episode now because I don't think I have publicly spoken about the mantra Om before. I've spoken about it many times in the teacher trainings or in the public talks, but I don't remember if I have ever mentioned about the Om mantra on a podcast or even on social media. There are many layers of the mantra Om, and one thing I'm very grateful is that the people who constantly or consistently listen to me are the ones who are, ready or wanting to dive deeper in their spiritual path. I feel great that my energy or my work doesn't attract those who are, just testing out the market. I mean, they test me out as well, but they don't stay there. The ones who have been staying and, playing and consistently listening are the people who have been diving deeper in their spiritual work. And I receive so many questions from all of you who are sincerely wanting to deepen the path. And many of you express your concern for the Om mantra because wherever you go, this mantra is loved and respected so much. But when you share it with me, I recommend you not to do it. And I thought this might be a good moment, good time to share about why you might be chanting it in the wrong way and what's the right way to connect with the mantra Om. So there are two layers of this, episode. The first layer is understanding about what really the Om mantra is and understanding the first aspect of not doing it. So mantra means instrument of the mind. When you start to chant or meditate upon any mantra, you start to embrace and embody the qualities of that specific mantra. So, for example, when you do Soham Namaha, it means I am that awareness or I am the infinite consciousness. So when you meditate on Soham, you start to embody that quality of infinite awareness. And whenever people share the deep experiences that they go through after doing the mantra Soham, all the things they share with me, they are connected within that zone of infinite awareness, that infinite consciousness. And it's the same with other mantras. The mantras which are connected with divine feminine or Shiva or goddesses, they all have certain specific qualities. And those mantras really start to give you that, energy, and you start to dive deeper in that energy the more you are doing that mantra. So first aspect is understanding what exactly is the energy of mantra Om. And when you meditate on it, what kind of energy you start to embody. So, Om is considered the mantra of all the mantras. It's considered the Anhatanad, which means the unstruck sound. It's the cosmic sound that has always been out there. It's the sound that will continue to exist out there in the cosmic consciousness. When you start to research and Google more about the mantra Om, you will see that the references of this mantra is mentioned beyond the Eastern traditions as well. So it's not surprising that, this mantra continues to find a certain space and respect in many different cultures. The energy of Om could be described as the infinite energy. It could be described as the energy of the cosmic consciousness. It's the energy where your crown chakras start to open. It's the energy where, relationships, money, ambition, desires, none of them, make any difference to you. They don't matter. They are irrelevant because you start to connect on that level of detachment, on that level of renunciation. And there are many monks and yogis who have left everything and they live in the jungles of Himalayas and they live a very remote, aloof life. And they are the ones who constantly dive deeper into the mantra Om. So let's say, I'll take example of someone, who's listening this in a metro city or even not in a metro city, someone who's just randomly in any part of the world. Most people go through a very standard lifestyle. We all work to earn our livelihood. We all work to go through a process of making money, process of learning, process of serving the society, serving our employer. When we have relationships, if we don't have, we want one. I mean, that's pretty much what human life is all about, right? Money, success, safety, security, family, relationships, failure, dreams, hope. I mean, that's pretty much what constitute the human life. So when you start to meditate on the Om mantra, you start to embody the quality of Om, which is infinite, which is renunciation, which is being in that cosmic consciousness, which has no beginning and no ending. So when people start to meditate on the Om mantra, the first thing that organically starts to happen is that they start losing the interest in their relationships. They start losing the interest in their ambition. They start losing the interest in everything that they have been working very hard for. And when something like this starts to happen, you should not be confused because the moment you start to meditate on Om, you are signing up for it. You're asking for it. But that's not the complex part. The complex part is no one is ready to be in that direction. No one is ready to renounce. No one is ready to let go of, relationships or ambition or money or job or anything because we have bills to pay. We have families to take care of. We have our dreams to live. And there's so much, that we want to, do. There's a huge list of things that we want to accomplish. So when you start to meditate on Om, there's a one layer of energy that pulls you toward that direction of infinity. And then there's another layer of energy that pulls you toward your family, your goals, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your relationships, and all the stuff that's just cooking up for you every day. And you want it to cook, right? You have been working hard for it. So in a nutshell, meditating on Om takes you away from your desires and goals and responsibilities. And it takes you toward the direction of infinite consciousness where none of these goals matter. Because ultimately, they don't matter. But we need to go through these because for many of us, or for almost all of us, that's the process of understanding the life, understanding the process of hustling, of failing, succeeding, and then organically surrendering to the infinite consciousness. But that growth has to happen in a very organic way. So this is one aspect of it. And I have witnessed and worked with so many people who tell me that they started meditating on the Om mantra and they started losing interest in everything. But they were not enjoying that, losing interest, because they wanted to work hard. They wanted to succeed. They wanted to, become successful. They wanted to be in a relationship. So they were in a very confused state, and they were not even feeling peaceful, because, when the peace starts to cultivate in this way, it creates chaos, it creates confusion. And the last time I shared about this was at the teacher training at the Den Meditation in LA. And while I was sharing it, there was one student in the teacher training who said, I actually went through this not too long ago. And every time I share this publicly, there's always someone in the room who says, I've actually gone through it. And, the fun part is before recording this podcast, I just, for the fun of it, and for the first time in my life, I Googled why the Om mantra should not be chanted. I was curious, is there anyone who's actually talking about it? So there was one article, I think it was from Elephant Journal, and there was a count of someone who actually did the Om mantra, and he also went through the same thing. And this kind of spiritual information is not bookish spirituality, not a textbook spirituality. And unfortunately, most spiritual information that you receive is coming from this textbook spirituality. This is sad and tragic, but the truth is, more than 90% of the spiritual teachers that you're listening to, they have not gone through that work themselves. And when they share about something like this, they have not experimented. They have not gone through that journey. So they create a tribe of students who also simply blindly accept that, truth, that wisdom, that teaching, and they continue to go through it. So this is definitely something that you may not find in textbooks, but this is a very practical aspect of spirituality. And the other aspect of mantra Om is even more fascinating. The other aspect is that since Om is considered the mantra of all mantras, it's considered the destination of your entire spiritual journey. So that's how you need to treat it, as a destination and not as a bridge. Most people, most seekers start treating the Om mantra as a bridge, which means they use the mantra Om to reach the mantra Om. So they create a version of this mantra Om. And when the time comes for them to receive this sound naturally through the cosmos, they're not able to receive it because they've already created a certain version of it. Okay, I'll try to expand on this. So there are certain layers in our consciousness that start to open up when we really dive deeper into our meditation practice. Most of us spend our life in between the sleeping, dreaming, and waking up, okay? And that's the 3 states of consciousness or unconsciousness that we, live. But as you start to dive deeper into meditation, the other higher layers start to open up, and these layers create some really powerful stuff. And those layers could be as powerful as, reading thoughts of someone, or healing your own self, or understanding the divinity and feeling the divinity within yourself and others. But while all of this is happening, something very interesting also starts to happen. So many people start to listen to these very interesting sounds. And if you are someone who already listened to these very interesting sounds on your own, like randomly a certain sound will start to ring up in your ear. If you listen to it, definitely tag me in your Insta story and let me know, because I'll be very curious to know who are the people who feel this interesting sound. And these sounds have no dimension. They are like almost alien kind of sounds. And this chakra starts to open up as you cross a certain layer of meditation, certain stage of meditation. And this is one of the very first stages, in the advanced stages of meditation. You actually start to hear mantras. You would hear any mantra that's out there, that's, talking to you, that's coming to you. And I was just sharing this with a client of mine this morning that, in the meditation, I don't do my mantra. Like when I sit down, I start hearing my own mantra on my own. And you could also do it. It's only happening to me and I'm special. No, it could happen to anyone. You need to really surrender and trust in your practice, and it could happen whenever. So don't rush for it. To have patience. It started happening with me after, I don't know, 15 years of meditation. So it could happen after 15 years or 15 months, or I don't know, in the next lifetime. There's no standard template to it. But the point is, these cosmic sounds are out there, and our journey in meditation is to become receptive and available to these sounds. And the highest of all of these sounds is Om. And when you meditate, you got to be available to it. You got to receive it fully, because when you organically start listening to it, it actually starts to open up all the chakras. It starts to clear away all the karmic contracts. It starts to clear away all the pain, all the suppression. It starts to bring you a healing of a level that you can never ever imagine. Okay? So the point is that you use different bridges to arrive at the mantra Om. So you don't do the mantra Om, but it becomes an automatic, effortless result of your meditation practices. So if this is a destination, what is the bridge? So the bridges are the seed mantras. The bridges are the deities. The bridges are other different meditation schools and practices. So Kundalini could be a bridge. Tantra is a bridge. Mantras are a bridge. The goddesses, the gods, the gurus, they all serve as a bridge. And that's why you should not be attached to any bridge, but you should be going through it so that you automatically open the door, unfold the final step of simply arriving at this cosmic consciousness called Om Mantra. Okay, so I hope this episode made sense to you. And if you resonate with it, please do write a quick review of this podcast and share this podcast on your Insta story and tag me. That would mean so much, because sharing is really the only core gift you can give to this podcast. So thank you in advance for giving the love of sharing and writing the review. And one more episode before we dive deeper into 2020. Talk to you soon. I hope this podcast may travel through the untapped universe of your darkness, light, courage, passion, and so much more. Please do subscribe and be ready to break your norms. I am so excited and very honored to be part of your sacred journey through this podcast.